Greetings and salutations. I'm so glad you stopped by today. You've caught me with my treadle sewing machine. I've been wanting to get this machine out for quite some time, and with everything going on in the kitchen, it's been a great distraction. I've spent quite a bit of time cleaning it, oiling it, working on cleaning the cabinet, but I want to tell you a little bit about the history of this machine. This machine was a gift from my friend Claire, and it was her grandmother's machine. And at first, I tried to figure out where this machine was made and things like that. And there were some clues, and I got pretty close. But I asked for more information about her grandmother. Her grandmother was Emma Torbeck, and she used it to sew for her family, and she had 7 children. The first child was born in 1910. So that gave me a starting point on trying to figure out how old this machine is. Let me tell you what else I learned. You can barely see it, but the word rugby is here. It's also on the base. And over here in the corner is a decal that says Norvell-Shapleigh, St. Louis, Missouri, and it says rugby in the center. So when I looked that up, I discovered that this was a sewing machine that was made in St. Louis, Missouri, under the name Rugby, and it was sold by Montgomery Ward. Now that is absolutely textbook Central Missouri origin. And this brand was only made from 1901 to 1915. So knowing that her first child was born in 1910, we've got a pretty close date on this little gem. And it runs like a top. Let me bring you closer and show you some of the artwork and the cabinetry. Now you can see the decals are on here, and I have tried to clean the decals, but I didn't want to remove them, so I've kind of just held off where we are. This center decal is a bouquet of some sort, but it's quite lovely. This mechanism on the side, this is where you wind your bobbin. And to wind the bobbin, you release, whoops, let me do that again. To wind the bobbin, you move this belt so it connects here, and as you're treadling, it winds the bobbin. That took a few minutes to figure out. The good news is I do have the owner's manual, and the owner's manual gave me specific instructions on how to do this. The other thing I learned about these treadle machines is that they're not a consistent kind of bobbin. For there wasn't a consistent size of bobbin or a standard bobbin used on all the machines. Every brand kind of had their own. I'm very fortunate. I have 4 bobbins for this machine. They don't hold a lot of thread, so I'm glad I have extras. Let me show you the drawers on this cabinet and the filigree work. Isn't this beautiful? And it's in such good shape. I haven't had to glue anything or repair anything. This is how I got it. And over here, look at the details on this drawer and that beautiful work on that pull. Isn't that just lovely? Now, obviously, it needs a lot of cleanup, but that's before I came on camera today. I thought I should practice a little bit and make sure my tension was set up. It's a good thing I checked because it took a few tries, but I finally got the tension where I wanted it, and it's ready to sew. Unique to this machine is this little item. This is actually the stitch length regulator, and I have it set to 14 stitches per inch. So I've got it set right at where I want it for an easy project. Let me show you what I'm working on. So I'm really fortunate to have the owner's manual and this certificate of warranty. This is the original certificate, and this is the serial number. This machine was guaranteed for 10 years, and you can see the serial number on the bobbin plate matches. So I know this is the correct document for this machine. Emma took really good care of this. This is her original owner's manual. And thank goodness, because figuring this out has been a little bit of a challenge, especially figuring out how to wind the bobbin and thread it. It also came with a box full of accessories. I have not adventured out to that. We're going to stick with basic sewing for now. But I'm very lucky to have these documents. As I mentioned earlier, I really had to work to get the tension straightened out. But I did finally, after a few small adjustments, get the stitches where I wanted them so they look really nice and even. Now, these sewing machines, of course, they're treadles and they don't have a light, so I've had to add a light so I can see. Let me adjust this. And maybe a little more. There we go. Now, when you're using a treadle machine, please sit in a standard chair. I tried it in my office chair and rolled away from the machine 3 times before I figured this out, so please learn from my mistakes. You might recognize this placemat. I started this project as a camping project to do some hand quilting. I have one more to make, and I thought this would be a really good project, just something simple to use on the machine. This is a very basic project. I'm just going to leave a little opening here so that I can turn it inside out. I've pin basted the batting. These machines don't have any markings, so you can get your seam width. I'm going to go ahead and add a piece of painter's tape. I'm just going to set this at a 1/2 inch. Painter's tape is perfect. I don't want to use anything that will damage the finish on this, but I do need a little bit of a guide so that my seam comes out even. There we go. Now, treadle machines take a little bit of coordination. They only go forward. Oh dear. Oh dear. Let's start over. All right, we're going to start over. See if I can get my coordination going here. Ready, set, go. I honestly can't imagine providing clothing for 7 children with this sewing machine. But compared to hand sewing, it would just be a miracle. I'm starting to get the knack of it here. It's important that you treadle as evenly as possible so that your stitches stay even and your tension stays even. These little clips are working great so that I can keep moving without having to deal with pins or anything. Well, there we have it. I'll turn this inside out and get it ready to hand quilt. The stitches look good. My seam is pretty even. I think it's okay. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching me work on my treadle sewing machine. I've gotten the placemat turned inside out. I just need to sew this little opening up, and then I've pin basted it. I'm gonna hand stitch the rest of it for Dad for Father's Day. He enjoys handmade gifts. He's never been one that wants a big fuss made. So these little things are things he really likes. And I think he'll really enjoy the idea that I made it on a treadle sewing machine. I hope you've enjoyed meeting Emma. I have some more projects I'm going to be doing on this treadle machine. I'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching.